Welcome back to another DM Tips video. This is for Shadow of the Dragon Queen, the last half of Chapter 5. There'll be spoilers abounding here, so if you're a player, please play the adventure, then come back after you've had a chance to play. Let us know how it went. So for this adventure, characters will be level 7. The project lead for this adventure is F. Wesley Schneider, and they have a huge team of artists and authors and map makers, and they've done a great job on this book, I think. Convention game day pacing for 4 hours. Really hard to do this in 4 hours in a meaningful way, but if you did, you'd have Hearts Hollow. So we're looking at the last half of the chapter. Let me back out and look at that real quick here. So I had a video for A and B, chapter 5 A and B, which covered the first half of the chapter. All these arrows pointing up and to the right here were the locations in the first half of chapter 5 in the northern wastelands. In this video, I'm looking at the last half of chapter 5, and it's really free form. So your players can go to any location, they can skip locations, they can go back and forth in locations. So don't take the order I'm putting here as the order your players might do it in. It can definitely vary, and you should encourage it to vary as much as the players want. Okay, so if you had to do it in 4 hours, Hearts Hollow, you'd go there, hopefully, and there you'd meet the brass dragon Ness, or bronze dragon Ness, and the survivors out here in the northern wastes, and then they can point players to the Bluemaw Cave, the Dragonnel Spire, and then eventually the players can get to Camp Carrionclay, and then from beyond there to the Dreadwolf Cove, and then finally to the City of Lost Names. Now, more likely you'll want to do this over 2 sessions, and my players did this like kind of reversed. They did the Camp Carrionclay first. That was the first place they went. They rescued someone there, of course, that leads them on to Hearts Hollow. So then I did Hearts Hollow, the Dragon Hunter, of course, before Hearts Hollow. And then they went to Bluemaw Cave and Dragonnel Spire in the reverse order of that. And then finally, that's started the second time we were playing. And finally they went on to Dreadwolf Cove and to the City of Lost Names. So let's just look at each of these locations and how you play these. So of course you can pace this 8 hours with more or less random encounters. I did a lot of random encounters because I thought they were pretty interesting, and because the maps that tested were fantastic. I always bump up random encounters with a regular encounter though. So, a random encounter alone in one day is trivial and not a challenge in any way for the party for resources, and so kind of loses its punch. So I always put those together with other encounters. So let's look at starting here with the maps of the area. So here's a random encounter that I use. This is one of the canyons filling up with the wash, and it can be 2 sharks or 3 dragonels. And on the map layer, I put all 3 maps that Tess makes, so you can just move these things to the back and have the wash start filling it up. There you go. And then if the party was in there and stuck in there, they can have the sharks. If they were out of it, they can have the dragonels. Next running encounter is the 3 manticores, and I had them nesting up on the top of the spires. When I run this, the players I run it for are really tactically skilled and can take on quite a bit more. So if you watch me play this, I actually had like 7 manticores up there on the spires. But I was kind of running out of time when I ran it, so I had the manticores act like lazy lions that just wanted someone to bring them their food, and the party kind of got by it with a persuasion check that way. Okay, this is the approach to Hearts Hollow. This is where they'll run across the scout that is being chased by giant spiders as the wash is coming into a canyon. I also put a couple more spiders there. There's only like 5 in the encounter, but I put more in there as kind of trapdoor spiders and hid them hidden below rocks and such, and had them come out and attack the party from hiding that way. Then the party will come to Hearts Hollow, and if we look at the big map for Hearts Hollow, that is this upper left one here, right here, and that'll springboard them onto the cave and the wyverns. And then, of course, Camp Carrionclay will springboard them to maybe Dead Wolf Cove, and then the City of Lost Names. Is that Dead Wolf Cove? Is that right? Dread Wolf Cove. Got it. Okay. So they come to Hearts Hollow, hopefully having either someone they rescued from the Sunward Fortress, or Possibly if they went to Camp Carrionclay first, someone there. So they get to check out the Hearts Hollow. Beautiful maps here by Tessa for all the location in the Hearts Hollow. And then the party gets to meet Ness here at the tavern, who is the mayor of Hearts Hollow and a hidden bronze dragon. Tess, if the party has captured the dragon egg from Camp Carrionclay, will offer a suit of brass dragon scale mail armor for the party. And to hide the brass dragon scale mail armor's ability to detect a location of a close bronze dragon, I explained to them that Ness told them that the armor was enchanted to detect her location at all times in case they needed to get back to safety. And her being a bronze dragon, of course, it will do that. Okay, then when the party leaves the city here, the Hearts Hollow, they are pointed toward a couple locations. They have Bluemaw Cave, and when they approach the cave, of course, there'll be the dwarf waiting outside, watching the trap. Then there'll be the encounter with the Gricks, the encounter with the Draconians, and I made all these basically the standard level encounter. I didn't really bump it up too much, except of course I have them do more damage. I took this picture here from Vizbands. Looked pretty matching to this cave. It's gold there, but I just made it sand in this adventure. For these cliffs that the party has to descend to get into the chamber, if you're doing a map in Roll20, it's good to have a side view of these cliffs because it's a lot of movement to get down one of these cliffs, and you can kind of track how far up or down the party is climbing each cliff. The text here I like to do this where I put on the map, information about ceilings with a caret pointing up, or altitude changes, etc., like that for the cliffs. And if they can hear something, they can hear the faint draconic below where they can hear it. That way I'm reminded, I don't get to this chamber and say, oh, I should have told them they could hear it way back there, for example. Okay, so then at Bluemaw Cave, the dwarf will first invite them back to the dwarven residence here. And that's another map by Tessa. And then they can return to the Bluemaw Cave and try and take out these Draconians. Then the next thing they'll go to will be the Wyverns. And another random encounter is the Purple Worm. I'm not sure it's supposed to be actually fought because the party sees it a mile away. So I did the same thing when the party saw it quite a ways away, had some time to get ready, could feel the ground shaking, wouldn't know which of these tunnels the Purple Worm was coming up out of, but it comes out, the party's ready, and the fight starts. Then you have the Wyvern, sorry, not Wyvern, the Dragonnel Spire, and that's just a real quick encounter as long as the party's got a guide with them. If the party had to fight this many Dragonnels, that'd be deadly, so they definitely don't need to be fighting those many Dragonnels. Then that basically takes care of the things that are out in the wild, in the deserts around Hearts Hollow, and that is these three locations near High Hunt, southwest of Old Bones, and near Wormcut. Then for the last half of the adventure, we got Camp Carrionclay, and over here by the Cliffs That Drink, and by the Giant Spire for the City of Lost Names. So for that part of the adventure, since the party was getting into the heartland of the dragon armies, I used the last of the dragon army encounters, or random encounters. There is one with 3 dragon army officers on Dragonels, and that, as written, pretty tough fight for 7th level characters, especially ones that can't fly. So watch that one. You don't really need to beef that one up too much, I don't think. And here's a good chance if the party is thinking about capturing someone and getting information about the city or how to get into the city, where you can leave that information for the party. And you'll want to look ahead toward the City of Lost Names and how the party can find out about the entrance through Wind's End, and especially these guys would know that. And they might try and bargain with their lives to share that information with the party. All right. Then the other encounter, and I didn't end up getting to use this one, is a camp with some Dragon Army officers and some Capac Draconians. And there's another chance here for the army to share information. And if I was running this, I'd probably put a couple more Capac Draconians up on watch on these cliff tops, hiding up there to jump down on the party if the party comes to attack them. So there's the Wandering Encounters. Now, Camp Carrionclay was the first one my party did. They went there first. They were looking to rescue some sea elves from Camp Carrionclay. Of course, there's a little Kender that's in another one of these cages, and that Kender wants to get back to Hearts Hollow. So that's a way for your party to get back to Hearts Hollow from Camp Carrionclay. And now the camp is described as having like 2 patrols, but it's a small camp. So I just reduced that to 1 patrol walking around the camp. I reduced to just 2 people watching on top of the tower. A lot of people sleeping in the tents, and the party waited until nightfall. Of course, you can give them a check to see if they know that the wash will go out and that the moat that surrounds the camp will become just a marshland, which they did. And that way they can walk right across. They came right across over here in the northwest quadrant. And coming over the wall there, they had a couple kinders sneak in and check out the captain's tent or the commander's tent, find his trunk, capture the egg, get the treasure, come back out. They did that without alerting the camp. Of course, that's a perfect time for the black dragon to come sweeping in. And this is a true dragon. The party needs to flee. You can make sure their characters know that they need to flee. They should know that. They had set loose the belay in order to have it rampage through the camp as a distraction as they were leaving, which was great because that way the dragon's first breath weapon could be to incinerate the belay, and it nearly did. Of course, I have the damage on the dragon. Let's see here. So if I did its breath weapon, 81 acid, it's looking 1.5 times its regular damage, 12d8. So that's a huge amount of damage and almost kills the belay in one breath. So the party knows they need to get out of dodge. So I encourage you, if you're DMing this, to let them succeed to the point of escaping and then heighten the tension there with the dragon approach. It can be pretty easy to bring this whole camp down on you if you're just asking for stealth check after stealth check after stealth check. They will quite likely fail. Give them every opportunity if they have a decent plan to get in and get out before the dragon comes. Otherwise, there's pretty little chance of them getting that dragon egg if that happens. When I took this picture of this big adult black dragon from dndmini.com, I think it is. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Then your last location is Dreadwolf Cave. And in Dreadwolf Cave, we have these really powerful creatures, Oncoloxes. And of course, I have the damage on these things, so their claw attacks do 2d10 plus 6. That's a lot. 2 of them. They throw you 20 feet. Their entrapping Rend does 5d6 plus 6, so huge damage. I had the party fight one of them before, and they did a pretty easy job. So I had them, they have Dalamar with them usually in this encounter. So I put 2 of those things in Dreadwolf Cave. And then the party can find the shard of a dragon orb here. And a really high Arcana check will let them know what it is. A high Insight check will let them know that Dalamar wants that item. All right. And then, if the party has not interrogated any soldiers or doesn't have any idea how they're going to get into the City of Lost Names, when they arrive on scene there, they're going to be, facing an army guarding the only way in that they know of. Dragon patrols making, any access over the cliffs almost impossible without being detected. So if the party hasn't already done it, they can try and scout, although it's pretty hard to find out that there's secret entrances in just from scouting out, especially the one that's hidden here in Wind's End. So I would encourage you to have the army that Darrett is leading have scouted out, captured some people. If you have time, you can have the party do the interrogations of who they captured and that the party find the location, the weak link to get through. But eventually the party should find out they can get through at Wind's End, and you can have that encounter where the party goes in while Darrett and Darrett's forces are distracting the Draconian armies. And you can make that fight as quick. It's a pretty quick fight with just 3 army officers, 1 Dragonel, a few random things happening. I made the random things come a little bit faster. And so the party was getting through, but being chased. And then they got through, and the Dwarven Cleric stone shaped the way through to stop any pursuit. So, and then of course, these people can die at the hands of Darrett's army, so the weird doesn't get back to the Draconian Red Dragon army. And that is Chapter 5, The Northern Ways, the last half. I'm looking forward to the City of Lost Names is next, and then Chapter 7 is the last one. So we're actually probably more than halfway through Shadow of the Dragon Queen, and it is really fun. All right, If you get to play this adventure, leave a note in the chat below and let us know how it went. I will, of course, put all my notes down in the description below, and you can link to various tokens I used and such there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.